queen of overthinking. It's like we're done before we even started. So if this is the end now, baby, know that I gave it my all. I believe in us. I won't give up on you. I will be holding on for life. Hope you believe in us. Please don't.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for stopping by my channel and hanging out with me for another video. So today's video is the 100k Q&A giveaway. That's a mouthful. I better say it before I finish this. So when I hit my 100,000 subscribers, I posted on Instagram and on my YouTube channel that I would be doing a Q&A and a giveaway. And now that I have my 100,000 subscriber award from YouTube, I have got all the questions. I haven't really looked through them because I wanted it to be really spontaneously answered. So I will pull them up now on my phone and we'll just go through them. First of all, of course, huge thanks to anyone who has subscribed to my channel. It is really an amazing achievement. I know when you start YouTube, it seems like so far away that you'll ever get to 100,000 subscribers. But if you have subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for your support. And let's get straight into the Q&A. Oh my gosh, on the community question is 102 questions just alone. And there's the Instagram questions too. All right, I'm gonna be able to answer 102 questions. So I'm just gonna go through and pick some at random. All right, so I've got a question here. How do you stay motivated to clean your house and keep everything organized? I have trouble keeping my home clean during the week when I'm busy with work and uni. How do you keep up with all the day-to-day chaos and have a tidy home without it turning into a bomb site come Sunday? Great question, first of all, and I think it just comes down to having your systems in place. So your cleaning routines every morning and every evening, and then just figuring out what works best for you for like your cleaning schedule. So for me, when I was working full-time Monday to Friday, I used to just do a little bit of zone cleaning each day. So Monday through Friday, deep clean a separate room of the house. So Monday was the kitchen, Tuesday was bathrooms, then it was like the lounge, dining, study area, the bedrooms, and then it was like a laundry catch-up day. Now that I'm at home, I'm thinking that I might just do my morning and evening routines and just expand those a little bit to cover a bit more than what they usually did. And then just doing like a more thorough, just once off clean once a week. But I'm not sure, I'm just in the middle of trialing that. But I do have a 5-part series on my Monday to Friday cleaning schedule when I did zone cleaning, and it's loosely based on the Fly Lady. But I really don't like living in a mess. I can't really stand it. It causes me to get really anxious and to get uptight. I'll get snappy with the kids. I've said that before. I know that, so I know that the way to manage that is to just make sure that I've got the systems in place to make sure that the house stays clean and tidy. And I do have a ton of videos on the habits that I've kind of developed over the years. So I'll be sure to link that. And I think it's just making sure that you have the systems in place and that you can always fall back to those systems. But when you don't have your systems and you don't have a plan and you're just kind of hodgepodge cleaning things everywhere, I think that's where you are more likely to come undone, because you won't ever have anything to fall back to. And I know that it's quite common now to say that you'll always fall back to the strengths of the systems that you've got in place. So if you've got some really good cleaning routines and schedules in place, at least you can always fall back to those. A lot of requests for different videos. How long did it take you to feel comfortable with how you were contributing to your retirement accounts? Would you ever share the basics of how you set yours up to be successful without having to constantly manage it? Yeah, absolutely, for sure. I do have a detailed budgeting video that I've got, and I will make an updated one because a lot of people have requested that. In Australia, it is compulsory for employers to contribute. It's 9.5% of your income to your superannuation or to your retirement fund. So that is 9.5% of your salary on top of your salary. So they pay you your salary, and then every month they pay 9.5% of whatever you've been paid into your nominated superannuation fund. You kind of have forced superannuation savings, but you can also top that up, and it's got some tax benefits and all that kind of stuff. But yes, definitely happy to go more into detail in a kind of money management thing, because I think that when you've got your finances and your money under control, it really contributes to you feeling like you are so much more in control of your life. And I know for me, when I've had my finances be out of control, it has really impacted negatively my peace of mind. So definitely when you do have your finances under control, and I think it's something that everyone can do because there's so many free resources available online, in books, and I have mentioned this before in previous videos, you've got no excuse to not have access to a whole host of free or very low cost information from really reputable financial advisors. So I don't think anyone has an excuse to not be able to get their finances in order. It's just a matter of taking the time and putting the effort into setting up your budget to start with, and then it's that discipline to actually stick to it on a weekly, fortnightly, monthly, and yearly basis. Is the giveaway open for a fan here in the Philippines? Haha. Anyway, just wanted to let you know you're my inspiration. Love you. Oh, thank you, Elaine Javier. Elaine, thank you, Elaine. Love you too. Yeah, it's open worldwide. Wherever I can ship to from Australia, it's all packed up in a little Amazon box. But I'll definitely insert some clips on what is included in the giveaway. Any place in the world that I can ship to from Australia, that is open to. And I think we can ship to pretty much anywhere that I've got a YouTube viewer. I don't think there'll be any problem for Australia Post to ship it across to anyone who wins it. Assumption about you. You're a bit of a perfectionist. It's amusing how you organize and reorganize until you like it. Funny how you get frustrated with yourself. Assumption about Australia. It's incredibly beautiful and I would like to visit. Bucket list. Also assumes Australians are fun-loving. Met some Australian guys once and they were a total blast. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Yes, I would say a little bit of a perfectionist, but not to the point where it impacts my life or impacts negatively. I really like to have things to a high standard, but not perfectionism in the way that I don't think I'm worthy or I don't think I'm good enough if my house isn't tidy enough or if it's not decorated in a certain style. I really like to have things done to a very high standard, and I hold myself to a high standard, but not to the extreme where it is negatively impactful for my life. And there is actually a really good Brene Brown book, The Gifts of Imperfection, which really go into that. And also in the book, I think it's called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, she talks about perfectionism and how it shouldn't be worn like as a badge of honor. Like being a perfectionist is actually more crippling to you than some people make it out to be. Some people make it out to be, oh, I'm just such a perfectionist. It's probably not something to brag on and be proud of. It's something that can be quite damaging and limiting to you. So I would definitely recommend reading The Gifts of Imperfection and Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert if you do struggle with perfectionism. Just remember, it really isn't a badge of honor to wear, and it's not something that you should be like, I don't know, like not proud of, to say, oh, I'm just a perfectionist. Because when you look into it and read and educate yourself more and more about it, you'll realize that actually it's not something that is beneficial or is in any way in a favor to myself and my self-development. So I wouldn't encourage being a perfectionist or holding yourself to those perfect standards, because perfection just doesn't exist. It's just unattainable, and you're just setting yourself up for failure if you're always constantly striving for perfection, perfection, perfection. So just set reasonable standards. Yeah, keep your standards high, but just make sure that they're reasonable and achievable and attainable. Okay. I found your channel in a time of depressive chaos, and I started browsing your downsizing and found it pleasant that I don't have to be a minimalist in order to be organized or have my life together, because that's how it felt. Definitely, you do not have to be a minimalist to have your life together. You do not have to be a minimalist to have a neat and tidy house. You can have things like, I've got tons of stuff. I do like the concept of minimalism in some way, but I prefer to think of it as intentionalism. So everything that you have in your home, it's intentionally put there because you've decided to put it there. You're not just hoarding a lifetime of stuff because you can't either be bothered to deal with it, or you don't know what to do with it, or you can't bear to let anything go. I like to think that even though I'm not a minimalist and I don't have like only the very minimal, bare minimal things to live, I like to think that everything in my home has been intentionally kind of curated, or I have intentionally selected it to either come into my home or to stay in my home. And I will quite regularly go through my home, at least, or even on a weekly basis, I will be going through and finding stuff that we can just drop off at the charity drop off. But definitely once a month, on the last Friday of every month, I do have a life admin day. And that's where I will like go through and I will try and just fill up a box or fill up a bag of all the little bits and pieces that I don't want or need anymore in my house, and then pass those on to someone who will benefit from having them in their life. And I would highly encourage you to do the same. Australians are very laid back. I think so. And I especially see that in the comments section of the YouTube channels. Some of the viewers are a little bit more uptight, and they get a little bit I wouldn't say offended. Yeah, actually they probably do get offended by some of the things that I say and some of the ways that I come across, but that's just me, that's who I am, and if I changed it I wouldn't be authentic to myself. So probably not going to change the way that I deliver on YouTube or the way that I come across, because that's, you know, who I am, and if I changed it, like I said, I wouldn't be being authentic to myself, and I think that would come across you know, as me not being genuine. So I'm not going to ever try to be someone that I'm not, and if I do, you know, do or say anything that might be in some way offensive to you, it's not really a reflection on me, it's more of a reflection on you. So that's that. Australians, yes, I do think we are more laid back, and yes, you probably have had a ton of fun if you've met Australians, but like everyone, I'm sure there's tons of Australians who are, but like everyone else, I'm sure there's tons of Australians who are very uptight. I do think though that we have a reputation for being, you know, pretty chill, pretty laid back, pretty down to earth and very easygoing. So yes, definitely agree with you on that one. An assumption I have about you is that you don't let stuff get to you and bother you, but from the little bit that you have shared, I can't imagine that divorce was easy. I'd love if you made a little more about what makes you tick. How do you get to this mental positive place you are at now? What was it like beforehand, and what keeps you going, and why are you so terribly brave? Thank you, that's so sweet. Excited to hear from you. I hope you make a sit down video from Ruth. How do I stay positive and motivated? I surround myself with positive, motivating things. So I exclude any toxicity, I exclude any drama out of my life, and that comes from people, that comes from TV shows, that comes from any kind of social media. If there is even a hint of that drama llama vibe, unfollow, just don't even engage, don't even get into it. I think that positivity is a way not only of thinking, but it's also a way that your whole mindset, and that's not to say that I'm positive, 100% positive every single second of every single day, but I definitely, you know, everyone's got a choice in life to either be, you know, glass half full or glass spilled all over the place and I've got nothing to show for my life and it's a misery. Everything in life is a choice. So you've got a choice on how you act, you've got a choice on how you behave, you've got a choice on how you speak, you've got a choice with the people that you choose to associate with, you've got a choice on how you choose to spend your time. If you spend your time watching every single reality drama-laden show on TV that comes across your channel, of course your mind is going to be filled with drama and it's going to be, you know, quite a horrible situation to be in. I used to watch the show Laguna Beach and then The Hills when I was home with my kids. I think when I just had my first son and I was home and I was breastfeeding a lot, and I used to watch Laguna Beach, and then after that I watched the series The Hills. A couple of weeks ago I saw on Netflix there was like the Hills, Where Are They Now? So 10 years later, and I started watching it and I literally was feeling such anxiety just from watching it because of all the drama that was going on in there. And I was like, oh, I don't know how I used to watch, you know, 7 seasons of this thing. It was too much. And I think that when you cut the drama, from your life, and when you remove yourself from anything that is, you know, not positive, any of those negative associations, and they can be people, they can be things that you let yourself be influenced by. So if that's media or TV, whatever it is, make sure you know that those things aren't good for your mental health and well-being. Limit your exposure to it and really do what you can to, it's what I call protect your peace. So it is like putting up your, you know, your fence of your garden and making sure that your peace is protected from anyone who might be a negative person or any kind of negative influence. And that's how I really make sure that I try and stay as positive as possible. But I think it really comes down to the type of people that you associate yourself with, because they can have a massively huge impact on your life. And also your language, so the way that you talk to other people and especially the way you talk to yourself. And I mentioned this in 13 Reasons Why Your Life is a Mess. Often we are our own worst self-critic, and when you really pay attention to the language that you're using when you're speaking to yourself, so your inner monologue or the way that you speak to yourself, when you pay attention to that and you catch yourself every time that you are speaking negatively and you change that into a positive perspective, just doing that can make such a huge impact on your life. So definitely recommend that. Hello and yes, congratulations for your success on YouTube. I admire you both, your triumphs in your personal life as a single mom as well as your success as a businesswoman. I'm in California and can't find the mattress in the ladies' bathroom cleaner anywhere, not even on Amazon. Where can I get it? Murchison Hume, you can actually get it from their website, and I'm certain that they ship to the US because I've seen it on places like, I think it was like Studio McGee or those kind of more sort of high-end bougie sort of makeover type channels. So you can definitely get it shipped overseas, and I think it's murchisonhume.com.au. In Australia you can get it online obviously, but you can also get it in domain. If you could change the ending to any book, not necessarily your own, which book would you change and how would it end instead? I actually prefer to read non-fiction books rather than fiction books, and I haven't read fiction books for a very long time. I'm actually just starting to read one now. It's called The Price of Salt. It is the novel that the movie Carol with Kate Blanchett was based on, and I'm really enjoying that, but I haven't got to the ending yet, so I can't say out of that book. I think probably the only ending that I know that I would change is the Harry Potter book where Snape died, and I would not have the character of Severus Snape die. I would have him live through to the whole end of this series. Dumbledore, yeah, he died, we all know that. But I would have kept the character of Severus Snape alive. But definitely I will be reading a whole lot more non-fiction books. I used to think that it was kind of a waste of time reading non-fiction. Like, I've only got so many hours in the day. You can only allocate so many hours of your time to reading. And I always thought that, well, if I've only got that amount of time, I'm going to put it into the things that are going to be most beneficial to me, which is like self-development, self-help books, and all of those motivational psychology books. But I do think that there is a lot of benefit also in enjoying and reading non-fiction books. So happy to really get back into that. I used to really love, and Oprah had her TV show on, and she still does it, the Oprah Book Club book recommendations. So I've got quite a few that I read from her book club recommendations. One of my favorite books of all time is The Colour of Water by James McBride. That was The Poisonwood Bible, We Were the Mulvaneys. There was one about a woman who lived in Haiti. I can't remember it off the top of my head. Breath, Eyes, Memory, I think it was called. I can't remember the name of the author, but that was a really good one. It stood out. The storyline was really incredible. So I really like the book recommendations from the Oprah Book Club, and I will be getting back into more of those really soon. Once I get my whole new working from home schedule organized, once I get the whole YouTube video schedule organized, I think I'll just really make sure I've got time that I block out to spend reading, because it's something that I really enjoy doing and that I don't do enough of. I'm a single mum, married, live with my husband, who's also the father of all my 4 kiddos, but he works 10 plus hours a day, 5 to 7 days a week. Honestly feel like I'm a single mum. Not that he doesn't do anything to help type of way, but in the way that he's not home very much to help out. What's your best single mum tip that I could apply in my day's life to make days a bit easier on me? Well, for that is a couple of things, I think, and that is really making sure that you have your routines down pat. So morning routine, night routine, and a cleaning routine, either like once a week cleaning your house or doing a little bit in each zone each day. I think with kids, and especially when you've got 4 kids, definitely limiting the amount of stuff that they have access to. So if you have got every toy, every book, every activity at all times available to your kids, that's like it's like a recipe for disaster. And I think that is one way that your house can quickly get out of control when your kids have got access to absolutely everything. So for me, when my kids were younger, I would really be very careful, and I would box up all of their toys and just keep a really small selection on rotation available for them at any time. So then that they had a really good chance to be able to take ownership of cleaning up and organizing and being responsible for their own things without it becoming too out of control. So I know that toys and kids' activities and books and things can quickly overtake the house if they have got access to everything, and they pull everything out and everything gets mismatched and jumbled. Whereas if you pack everything up into storage boxes, get it out of their reach, out of sight, and then just bring out a small selection of toys on rotation that it not only gives them access to only a few things so that they've got a better chance of keeping it clean and organized. It also means that when you do bring out that new stuff, it's kind of new and exciting because they haven't seen it potentially for quite a few weeks. So that would be my other tip. And also to really encourage kids, no matter how young they are, to be responsible for their own things and look after it and help out in the whole household by picking up after themselves. So I know that kids can very easily pick up after themselves. I've worked as a nanny for 5 years. I've worked in early childhood settings for a couple of years, and even in a training college that provided training for early childhood care. So I do have quite a bit of experience besides just my own two kids. Yeah, I would just say, just make sure that they're aware and responsible of taking care of their own belongings. And also that you encourage them to participate in cleaning up. So after they've finished eating or whatever, let them put their dishes into the dishwasher, or let them help, dry up plastic cups and plates. The earlier that they are included in the household chores, I think the easier it is and the better it is for everyone. I mean, because you don't want kids to grow up thinking that they've got to have someone else picking up after them for life. My kids have always picked up after themselves, and even if their room isn't kept to a perfect standard, they know that if I say, right, it's time to clean up your room, they've got to get in there and they've got to get it picked up and put away and cleaned up. Oh, I've lost my spot. All right. Hey, and yes, hello, Julia. I have a horrible TV addiction. I see you always have something else going on and watch very little TV. What is your secret? By the way, your channel is my favorite and you really inspire me and help me get my place together. You're awesome. Woohoo! Thank you so much, Julia. First of all, I really do watch very, very little TV. If I watch anything on TV, it's either movies or sometimes YouTube channels, YouTube videos. In fact, the aerial cord to our free-to-air TV is at the moment unplugged because I've put some new drawers in the TV unit and it just doesn't quite fit. So we really watch very little TV, and if I do watch it, I'm very selective with it. For me, I'd just rather be doing something else, and I know because I watch this channel, it's like a Christian minister, Teresa Belfoy, and I know that she mentions all the time Americans, sorry, it's American, she's an American, so she used that statistic. Americans on average watch like 6 hours of TV per day. And I'm like, that is astounding. And especially when I hear so many people say so often that they've just got no time to, start a business or, get a degree or education or, whatever it is, or get their house under control, get their house clean and tidy. If you've got 6 hours a day to spend watching TV, you have got 6 hours a day to do a lot more with your life. So for me, I guess it comes down to choices, and everyone is responsible for the choices that they make. So if you want to not watch TV, you just choose not to watch TV. Pick out your absolute must-watch things and maybe limit it to, scale back. 2.5 hours a day or 2 hours a day. For me, I probably wouldn't spend more than, I don't think even an hour a day watching TV or watching TV related stuff. I just think that there's so many more positive and worthwhile things that I can be doing rather than just sort of sitting down watching too much TV. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it all just comes down to choices. So definitely schedule in how much TV you're going to watch and do it on a weekly basis and say, I'm only going to allow myself to watch this amount of TV, and use it as a reward. So if ever you want to, watch your favorite TV show, just say, right, well, I'm going to be able to watch it, but I've got to do this, that before I let myself sit down and watch that TV. As a single mum, how do you stay motivated to stay on top of everything life throws at you and stay motivated to keep an immaculate home and a cleaning, organising schedule? From Rachel G. Well, thank you, Rachel G, but my home is not by any means immaculate 24/7. I do like to keep it, like I've said a million times, to a very good standard of cleanliness. And it's funny because what I think is out of control and a mess, other people still come around and say, oh my God, your house is so clean. I'm like, oh my God, it looks like a disaster today. But I think that when you've got, start at that kind of lower level, get your house to that level, and then, level up, and then say, all right, well, I'm going to get it to this next level of cleanliness. How do I stay motivated to do it? It's just a choice. I don't feel like cleaning and organising every day, but there's a saying that, I think it's Joyce Meyer, who I don't know, I sound like I watch a whole bunch of these Christian preachers, but I'm not 100% religious, but I do really like and enjoy watching anything that is positive and motivating. And from the channel that I very first started watching maybe 6 years ago or something, Teresa Belfoy, who says that she's your cheerleader of dreams, I got started watching her because she was so positive and motivating. And she always mentioned these two people, Joyce Meyer and Joel Osteen, and I'd never ever heard of them. And like I said, I am not the most religious person. I don't think I've ever been to church if it's not for a wedding or a funeral, to be honest, or like when I was in Catholic school. I know a lot of people have made comments about the fact that I say like, oh my God, or when I said, oh God damn you, IKEA, I was like, I got all these comments saying, you're going straight to hell. And I'm like, oh, far. I was about to say, oh my God, settle down. Not everyone is religious, and that is okay. If you are religious, that's okay. If you're not religious, that's also okay. If you are a different religion, that's cool too. I don't judge you for your religion, so please don't judge me for the fact that, you know, I am not particularly religious. That being said, I do enjoy listening to Teresa Belfoy, Joyce Meyer, Joel Osteen, among many, many, many other positive people. So I like to listen to Brian Tracy or Practical Psychology, Brene Brown or Tony Robbins, Mel Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, who are that same kind of vein of motivating people, but they're not, you know, specifically like Christian or pastors or that kind of content. It just so happens to be that these three people that I do watch and listen to and sometimes read, that they do have a religious affiliation. And I think it's just coincidental. I really do enjoy and I find them motivating, you know, despite the fact that they are, they do have those religious affiliations. If they did or they didn't, it wouldn't make a difference to me. It's just the fact that their messages are always positive, they're always motivating, they are always like, I particularly like Joyce Meyer because she's like the grandma, no nonsense grandma that everyone needs. She's not going to listen to your excuses. She's not going to put up with you complaining. She's not going to take any of your BS. She's going to tell it how it is, and she's going to have those high expectations that you just pull your finger out and do what gets to be done. And the reason that I've gone off on that tangent about the whole Christian ministry type things is because there is a quote that Joyce Meyer always says. There's a couple actually. There's the one that says, it's in my kitchen at the moment, and it's like, do you want it or not? You know, when you wake up and you might not be motivated to do something in particular, will you just ask yourself, well, do I want it or not? You know, I don't always wake up every day and feel like shoving a camera in my face and making YouTube videos. I definitely don't always feel like sitting down for 8 hours and editing a 10-minute YouTube video, but I just ask myself, well, do you want it or not? Do you want to have this as your job or not? If the answer is yes, then you just stop your complaining, quit your whinging, and just do whatever it needs to get done. That's it. That's literally it at the end of the day. Oh, what's the other thing? Oh, the other thing is, oh, it's so hot in here with the lights on. The other thing that I really enjoy that she says is, I don't let my feelings decide. So sometimes I don't feel like it. I don't feel like exercising. You know what? I don't let my feelings decide. Sometimes my feelings just don't get a say in it, because if I let my feelings decide, maybe I'd never get around to doing anything. My feelings aren't in control of my life or the decisions that I want to make. I'm in control of my life and the decisions that I make, not my feelings. So that's 2 tips. Don't let your feelings decide, and ask yourself, do you want it or not? Well, if you want it, and if you want it bad enough, you'll figure out a way, and you'll stop your whinging and you'll get into action and you'll start getting things done. So if you want a clean and tidy house, just ask yourself, do you want it or not? And yeah, you're sitting on the sofa, you're thinking, oh, I really want a clean and tidy house, but I just can't be bothered to, I just don't feel like getting up and cleaning up. Well, you don't let your feelings decide, and you ask yourself, do you want it or not? And if you want it bad enough, you'll get up and you'll get into action, and you'll stop making your excuses, and you'll stop doing this and that and putting it off, and you'll just get in and you'll get whatever needs to be done. And that's the end. It's just about being realistic and not making excuses. Be realistic, don't make excuses, and just stop making everything bigger than what it needs to be. You know, I think a lot of time people make things into much bigger things than they actually are or they need to be. Like, cleaning your house is not that bloody hard. You know, you don't need to make a big drama out of cleaning your house. Literally, you can get stuck in 2 hours, you've got your house clean to a very, very good standard. Honestly, I'm tempted to make a video, how long does it actually take to clean your house? Because I've seen these videos at the moment, there's like all day clean with me, 2 day, and like I saw last week, there was something that came up in my recommendations. It was a 3-day clean my house with me. I'm like, who in the flip spends 3 days cleaning their house? I'm like, what? How bad can your house be that it takes 3 days to clean your house? So I'm like, unless that this is just someone who's just going for clickbait and going for views, I'm like, there is no way in the world that you could literally spend 3 days cleaning your house. I just don't get it. I hope that it's not like a YouTube trend that people are going to go up. Like, it's all day, then it's 2-day house cleaning, then it's 3-day house cleaning. Like, where's it going to stop? It's like, it's just kind of ridiculous. So I am really thinking of doing a video like, how long does it actually take to clean a house? Like, to make your bed, and I've timed it many times, because when you edit yourself making your bed, it takes on average 48 seconds to make your bed. So anyone who says, I can't be bothered, I don't have time, BS. Everyone has got 48 seconds when you get out of bed or after you have a coffee or something. 48 seconds, your bed is made. Stop whinging about it, stop complaining about it. The time that you spent whinging about it, you could have had it made. And honestly, like, it does not take that long to clean a bathroom and to clean a kitchen, no matter what state it's in. It would never take anyone 3 days to clean a house. Like, if you were a house cleaner and that was your job, to clean like a 3 or 4 bedroom house, you might be looking at $120 or something for a cleaner to come in and clean your house. Imagine if you got paid $120 over 3 days. That's like, what does that work out that your hourly rate is? Let's just work that out. Say you work like an 8-hour day. So $120 divided by 3 days divided by 8 hours. That's $5 an hour. Who the heck is, I made more than $5 an hour when I was 14 years old. Yeah, so I would just say, think of cleaning as if it were your job. So if it were your job, would you spend all day cleaning like a 3-bedroom apartment, or would you spend all day cleaning a 4-bedroom house? Probably not. You'd probably be looking at a couple of hours maximum to get in and do all the things that need cleaning. And usually when you're a cleaner, because I worked for a company when I was 19 and I was saving to go to Europe, I worked for a company, Dial & Angel in Sydney, where I would just go casually and clean people's homes, because I was saving for a trip to Europe and I was very close to leaving and I wanted some extra money. So I just jammed up every spare hour I had, booking and going and cleaning people's homes. And really an average for a big house, it was 4 hours. So that was to clean, like obviously cleaning the kitchen, like deep cleaning the kitchen, cleaning all the bathrooms in the house, obviously cleaning all of the floors, so vacuuming and mopping, and then probably just doing like some dusting and organizing and things. And there is no way in the world that you would ever get booked for 3 days to clean a regular sized house. So that's kind of, yeah, that's where I stand on that. Stop making things out like they are bigger than they need to be, and be realistic about how long it actually takes to clean your house, and just get in and clean it. All right, so lots and lots of cleaning questions. Okay, it says, where's your accent from? I've heard other Australians talk and I've noticed a difference. Is it the region? Australian accent is so beautiful to hear. Yes, I am from Australia. I am from Brisbane, Queensland. I have lived in Sydney for quite a while. I think I lived there for about 7 years. And the accent does differ from state to state. I don't think it's to the extent that like American accents differ from state to state. You can hear very pronounced differences in an American accent. But yeah, there's definitely differences. My background is Italian, so my grandfather was from Italy. He came out to Australia after the war. When they were paying passage to come out here, he took a ship over here, and then he met my grandmother, who lived in King Island in Tasmania, and the rest is history. So Italian background. I know a lot of people ask if I've got Greek heritage, but no, it's just Italian. Close, but no cigar. A few different questions. How as single mum do you meal prep, budget, exercise when you have kids? Apartment living, what are your tips to meal prepping in small space? What do you think the perks, cons are of living in an apartment versus a house? All right, from the end, apartment versus a house. One, I like it because it's safety and security. So this building is a security building, obviously. I don't know, the thought of living in a house kind of scares me, to be honest. I don't want anyone to be able to, I don't know, the thought of anyone being able to walk past your house and look into your window, it kind of is petrifying to me, because I think I've spent so long now in the past, I think the last time I lived on ground level, it would have been about 7 years ago. And I'm not actually sure that I could go back to that unless I had a really, really good security system and maybe a guard dog, because I get really paranoid about, I don't know, people outside looking in. I don't know, I like the security. I like the fact that the apartment living it's quite compact. So it's really easy to clean and maintain. I really love the location here. It's walking distance to the city centre of Brisbane, to South Bank. It's really quite easy access to my kids' schools, so I really love that. Obviously it's really close to like shopping, restaurants, going out, entertainment and all that kind of stuff. Close to the river, so it's really nice to go for walks and for like bike rides and stuff like that. So I really enjoy living in this location, even though it is much more expensive, obviously, because it's in a city. You could definitely get a lot more for your money if you moved further out into the suburbs, but I really do enjoy the location and all the convenience that you get from living in the city. With some schools, once you're enrolled, you have to remain living in the catchment zone for that particular school, and that's the case for my son. So as long as he goes to that school, I have to stay living in the catchment area, which is I think about 5 suburbs in the area. Meal prep budget exercise. Well, I will make some more. I'll make some more detailed videos on meal prepping, exercising, because quarantine, holy moly, I don't think I have weighed myself since quarantine started, but I'm feeling a little bit curvy. And it's not that I'm not eating, like, I don't think my diet has changed. It's just that I have become much more sedentary from working from home. So you don't have, like I've mentioned before, all that incidental exercise. And I think that, you know, as you get older, your metabolism slows or whatever happens. So it means that you've got to work harder to not gain weight. So I'm 43. It's not super easy just to stay sedentary and not gain weight. So I've got to really look at that, because I tried on some jeans and they were a little bit tight. So I think I'm going to look into some quarantine, getting out of quarantine, losing the quarantine weight gain type videos, because I definitely need to, I don't know, do something. Probably stop drinking these. I don't think that's going to happen. Other perks are obviously that you've got someone else to look after everything. So where I live, I rent. I wouldn't buy anything in this area, and there's quite a few reasons why. Obviously supply and demand. 2, it's a really high density area and there are new buildings that are springing up everywhere. So if I bought an apartment, say I bought this unit, first of all, I think it's around the $700,000 mark, which is pretty pricey for a 2-bedroom unit. It is quite tiny. You'll notice if you've been watching this channel, like there's quite a nice view out the back, but there have been a number of buildings that have been built and that are close to completion since I've moved here, and we've been here for 2.5 years now. You've got no guarantee that the view you've got when you buy the apartment is the view that will stay, because there are like quite a number of 30-story high rises that have been built, and the one that's right in front of my apartment, it's still going up, and I think it will actually obstruct like the panoramic view. So that would obviously decrease the value of a property if you bought it. So I definitely wouldn't buy in this area in a high-rise building. I would buy in this area if it were either a house or a older style lower level apartment, and then just renovate it. Other perks are that you've got someone else to like look after everything. Like the swimming pool is obviously body corporate managed, so they look after that. The gym is all managed. Everything is all maintained, it's all paid for, looked after, kept up by someone else. So you don't have any lawns to mow, you don't have any pool chemicals to buy and clean, don't need a gym membership. So all that is already taken care of. No, come back community. Why is the cost of groceries so high over there? And are you getting a new dog yet? And what type of breed? The cost of living is generally high in Australia. I think Australia's got one of the highest cost of livings in the world, but that being said, the quality of your life is incredible. Cost of living's high, taxes are high, but salaries are higher in alignment, I guess. So everything sort of evens out. So yes, groceries are expensive. Yes, the cost of living is high, but generally salaries and wages are higher in alignment. No, we will not be getting another dog. My youngest son is desperate for a dog. He definitely would love to have either a pug or a French bulldog or a dachshund, like a sausage dog. But I just am not ready to commit to that just yet. Maybe in a few years down the track, definitely. But right now, no. Living in a tiny apartment, I just don't want the responsibility and the commitment of owning a dog just yet. How do you stay calm? I mean, how do you control your anxiety, frustration, because raising 2 kids, their fights or anything, misplacing or sometimes it doesn't work according to plan? Please make a video on home crisis management. How do you stay calm? It comes down to your choices, I guess. Like, I get frustrated with my kids and I get snappy at them. They are like, literally, they can be rambunctious and sometimes out of control. And if they're causing a ruckus and stuff, then I will just say to them, listen, you guys, knock it off, tone it down, or get out. Like, I don't put up with much. I don't like to give them too much of like a free rein. Or I don't know, they've just got to realize that it's a small space. Everyone is living in here together, so you can't just be making, a racket 24/7. You've got to be respectful of other people, and I think that's something that, kids have got to grow up learning. They can't grow up thinking that they're the center of the universe, because they're not. There's other people to consider. They're going to have to live or interact with other people at some point in their life, so they're much better off learning it younger and earlier. So I just think that they've just got to have some basic values of respect and consideration for other people. How do I stay calm? Like I said, it's just like about the choices that you make. Control your anxiety. I don't have like any kind of diagnosed anxiety. I know that I mentioned that it makes me feel anxious when the house is a mess, but that's not to say that I have any kind of diagnosed anxiety or depression or any kind of OCD or any clinically diagnosed condition, or I'm not even sure what you call it. I just like things to be orderly and clean and organized, because I know that the calm makes me feel calm. And just because I feel anxious sometimes doesn't mean I have anxiety. I think that that's there's like that blurred lines in that people quite often say that they've got anxiety and they've got this and they've got that. Just because you feel anxious, or just because, something makes you feel anxious, it doesn't mean you have anxiety. I definitely don't have anxiety. It's just that mess makes me feel anxious. Mess makes me feel stressed. That's what I say to my kids all the time. Mess equals stress. You want stressed mum, have a mess. If you want cool, calm mum, clean it up. But again, just keep it light. Don't get don't let things get so out of control and overwhelming that they do negatively impact you. Just know what your triggers are and manage them. Like, I know if my house is a mess, it's going to make me stressed and snappy. So I do what it takes to keep everything calm, organized, and under control. Not rocket science. No assumptions, no questions, just a thank you. Well, thank you, Tony Marie. I appreciate you subscribing if you're a subscriber, and I appreciate you watching my videos. You are great on camera. Have you always been this confident? Also, you are a great motivational person. Your tips are fantastic. Oh, yeah. Just watched today your 13 reasons why your life is a mess and loved it. How do you stay motivated and organized? Do you ever get a feeling that you need a break? Or maybe it's just that you truly love what you do. Well, thank you, Salomia. I hope I said that right. You're great on camera. Have you always been this confident? I probably wouldn't say so, but I think, like everything, it just comes with practice. And definitely it was something that I did and I really enjoyed at my old job. So I was in charge of new employee onboarding. So every person who joined our organization, from the time that they accepted their contract, that candidate accepted their contract, they then came to me, and I was in charge of putting them through their whole onboarding process. So that was like just, emailing them back and forth when we were in lockdown, through to their first day, letting them know what to expect, what I needed from them. And then on the first day, either when it was regular working, face-to-face orientation sessions, so explaining to them all about the organization, all about our values, all about our executive team, the mission of the company. So I think that sort of translates when you've got that face-to-face working with people. So I think I onboarded around 100 employees in the time that I was looking after employee experience, and I really put together a really nice program which got a lot of great feedback. People said, oh wow, this is really the best onboarding experience that I've had for any job that I've ever started, and I was like, what? That is awesome. So I really try to translate that kind of experience through to YouTube and the YouTube channel. So I think that gave me a bit of confidence, obviously interacting with people 24/7 when I was at work. and just building those relationships with people and making them feel valued and really making them feel sharing in the excitement of starting a new job. Just being able to communicate, with confidence to people on all different levels. So there were people that would come and they were like executive level people. So we had our CFO, we had our chief marketing officer, we had a new CEO, we had a new CHRO start when I was there. So throughout that period, there was like everyone that I onboarded from like the very top to, the very entry level positions. So I think that was a really great experience to not only build confidence, but also to build competence in being able to really communicate well with people. So that's it. And I think it just comes down to practicing. So if you don't think that you're confident or you don't think that you're good with, communicating with people, if you've got the option to do it as part of your job, put your hand up and ask to do it more often, because the more often you do something, obviously the better at it you get, the better you get at it, and the easier it becomes. So maybe if I had done this 10 years ago, I would have been like stumbling through it, like not really sure what to do or say. But the more you do it, the more it kind of becomes second nature. So it definitely gets easier. I think the other thing is a lot of people, let me shift around, I'm getting pins and needles. I think the other thing is, and I need another sip. I think the other thing is with confidence, people mistake, there's a little mind trick that you can do with confidence. So when you are doing things or in situations that might make you feel nervous. So for example, public speaking or like interviewing people. Like I've sat in on interviews with the recruitment team for quite a number of roles, and at the start I was like, I'm not really sure what to say. Obviously the more you do something, the easier it gets. So when you do something and you say, I don't like doing that, it makes me feel nervous, like public speaking typically makes people feel nervous. The physiological feelings of feeling nervous are, like shaking hands or butterflies in your stomach or sweaty palms or like everything in that Eminem song, knees weak, palms are sweaty. What does it say? His arms are heavy, knees weak. What is it? His arms are heavy, knees weak, palms are sweaty. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. He's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole world goes so loud. Anyway, I'm way off track. Those physiological feelings, or the physiological effects of those, what do you call it? The physiological symptoms or whatever of, sweaty palms, shaking hands, butterflies in your stomach, getting into a nervous sweat. Those are for fear or for nerves. The same feelings of being nervous are for the same feelings for being excited. So you get those same feelings when you're going to do something really exciting, like ride on a roller coaster or something. You might get weak knees and butterflies in your stomach and sweaty palms and a nervous sweat. So instead of saying, I can't go and speak in front of that, in front of the meeting, or I can't speak in front of our organization, I'm too nervous. Change saying I'm too nervous, I'm feeling nervous, I'm so nervous, to I'm feeling excited. And that will just trick your mind into saying, this is something good, this is something to feel excited about. And it is exciting to speak in front of people. It is exciting to, to chair a meeting. It is exciting to onboard 100 employees to on their first day of a new job. If you think of it as being something that will make you nervous, yeah, you will feel nervous, but if you switch your thinking and you say, I'm excited about it, it is something to be excited about. And all of those physiological feelings or those effects or symptoms or whatever you want to call it, instead of you associating those with feeling nervous, start associating those with feeling excited for something. A little switch can sometimes be enough to make you not feel nervous, but feel excited. So, the feelings are the same. It's just what we label them is different. So I would rather label those feelings as a feeling of being excited rather than as a feeling of being nervous. Questions. So many questions. Where did you grow up in Australia? I grew up in Brisbane, Australia, and then I moved to Sydney for about 7 years, from when I was 18 to about 25, I think, 25, 26. And then I moved back to Brisbane and bought a cafe, worked there for 5 years, and then just worked normal jobs after that. So I did grow up in Brisbane though. How are you finding working from home balance now you are working from home? Do the lines get blurred? Kind regards, Laurie Kate from Adelaide Hills. Oh, I love Adelaide. I've only been there twice, but I'd definitely love to go back. How do I stay motivated when I'm working from home? It's pretty hard lately, I've got to say. I think definitely having a routine and structure, as boring as it sounds, that is what works. And just having really good structure and just mapping out your whole week and then specifically your days definitely keeps me motivated. I think it's also really important to have someone who will hold you accountable. And I was speaking to my previous boss last week just about this and just feeling like I'm missing having someone. Like I said to her, I feel like I miss having someone to impress and having someone to report to and to have to answer to and say, look, I've done this, 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 and this. So sometimes when you're only reporting to yourself, you're like, oh, well, you know, I could do it today, or I could do it Friday, or I could do it next week. Whereas if you are being held to account by someone else, you kind of got that little bit of extra pressure and deadlines. So I think it's really just about trying to find, that the intrinsic motivation. So just the feeling of satisfaction from yourself. So self-satisfaction from getting a job done. And I think for me that comes from writing out to-do lists and definitely having schedules and plans to work to. Because if I don't have a schedule or plan, you can just be like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it the next day. I think you get a lot more done. I know I get a lot more done when I definitely have schedules and plans and a to-do list. And I like to have one that is daily, weekly, and then a bigger, broader, like monthly one. And then, of course, like your calendar with all of the like yearly events that you've got to remember. Have you always been someone who likes to be organized? Yeah, pretty much. I've had a lot of work experience in like the hospitality industry. So working in cafes, owning my own cafe for 5 years. You've got to be organized. You've got to be on time. You've got to be clean. You've just like... there are standards that you have to have when you work in food and food safety. So yeah, definitely organised. And then after that, working in the roles that I've worked in HR and in vocational education and training, being in charge of organising a whole college worth of courses and students, that required a high degree of organisation. So definitely my work has helped contribute to like the organisation, and I think specifically that systems approach that I have to organising my home and my cleaning schedules. So definitely having that, transferring that business-based systems approach into your home life has definitely helped me a ton. What influenced you to record yourself cleaning, organising and decorating to upload to YouTube? Do you think your channel would be this successful? So I first started 5 years ago when I was looking for a way to hold myself accountable for decluttering my house. So when I started, I'd moved out of like a 5-bedroom home. We lived up on the Sunshine Coast for a while and moved into, I think we were living in like a 3-bedroom townhouse, and then I kind of just like downsized. So went from a 5-bedroom house to a 3-bedroom house to a 3-bedroom townhouse, then to like a 2-bedroom unit. So it just progressively got smaller and smaller space. So I was kind of forced to declutter, organize. I wanted to get rid of a lot of stuff. I really wanted to just start fresh. So I wanted some way to kind of help me hold me accountable. So that's why I started my sorted 2015, and I was just like uploading every day or every couple of days with what I was doing in my life to declutter. And I got started in decluttering by watching Peter Walsh, who was actually he used to be on the Oprah show, so Oprah's like decluttering expert, and he had this challenge in January where each day of January he would do a decluttering episode on YouTube. So that's where I got the idea to start a decluttering and organising channel on YouTube. In the first instance, or in the beginning, it was just as a means to hold me accountable, because I was like, well, I'm going to put it on YouTube because that is one way to force me to stick to what I was saying I was going to do. How do you get your amazing home styling skills? I don't know, looking at Instagram probably. I think Instagram is the easiest. Instagram and Pinterest is definitely the easiest to pick up heaps of styling and home decorating tips. How do you stay motivated to keep up with every day? Like I said in before, it's just a matter of your choices. You've got the choice. You know, I've got the choice to be lazy, or I've got the choice to be active and productive every day. You know, sometimes I choose being lazy and take the easy way out. But 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be like, yeah, I know what I've got to do, and I know why I've got to do it, and I know why it means a lot to me to get it done. And I think that is the most important thing. It is knowing what you want to get done and why you want to do it. You know, if you don't want to have a clean and tidy house, that's totally fine. But if you do want to have a clean and tidy house, figure out why you want to have it. For me, I grew up in a chaotic house. It was chaotic because, you know, parents that didn't get along, always arguing. Quite often the house was like in a disaster. So I knew from a very young age not what I wanted to have in my life whatsoever. It was so impactful on me back then that I just knew I remember when I was a kid, I was just like, when I grow up, I'm going to have my own place and it's going to be magazine clean. And my house is not magazine clean, but it is much more clean, calm and organized. And the environment that I create for my kids, it's intentionally clean, calm and organized because I don't want them to have that chaotic childhood that I had, because it was not pleasant, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. I live in the UK, Scotland. My question, how do you stay calm and who do you get your good looks from? Thanks. I'd say it's probably my grandparents. My grandfather was a good-looking Italian man. I don't know, that's my heritage, so Italian, Australian. How do you stay so calm? It's just a choice. So, and again, being influenced by your environment. If your environment is clean, calm and under control, you're clean, calm and under control. You're an amazing mum. My question is, do you think you'll always stay in an apartment or would you like to go back to a house? What is easier and harder in an apartment? So some of these I've answered before. Would we go back to a house? Not if it didn't have like a super alarm system, because I'm like nervous and petrified of living on the ground floor now. I like the fact that no one can get up here. You like, it's really good security in the building. I don't know. And I think actually a few nights ago, and I put it on Instagram, there was actually a fire in the apartment next door. So the apartment block that we are in, it's like got sister buildings, so twin buildings, and our building faces obviously the next building. As you've seen in many of my videos, I shoot from my balcony, and in the next building, which is right there and 2 floors up, there was a fire on the balcony, and like I woke up to like sounds of like falling metal, and I woke up and I was like, what is that? And I thought, oh my god, someone is throwing stuff off their balcony, someone's probably having a drunken party. I was like, oh my god, or is it really windy outside? Because it can get super windy, and I know that, you know, when people have got like clothes areas and clotheslines outside, they can get blown around, and I was like, something has blown off a window. And then I got up and there was like this massive explosion, like the loudest firecracker fireworks that you could possibly imagine, and this white blinding light that I saw through the blinds in my bedroom. I was like, what the heck is going on? So I went straight out to the balcony, looked out, and there was a flipping fire on the balcony 2 floors up. So immediately I called the fire brigade, and then I'm panicking. I'm thinking, oh god, the boys weren't home, thank goodness. And I was like, what do I do? Are we supposed to evacuate? Like, usually there's a really quick response from over the loudspeaker systems to say evacuate. But that didn't happen, and I was like, that's really weird. So I got onto the fire brigade, the fire department, and the lady said, if you can, just try and look out and keep an eye out and make sure that there's no one who is hurt or injured until the fire department arrive. So I was kind of like standing out on my balcony, but I was like, oh my god, is there going to be another explosion type thing? And I recorded a little bit of footage that I put on Instagram. People must have thought, hey, you're a nut job filming a fire, why weren't you doing something? I was like, well, because it's in the next building, and it's like another building and 2 levels up. But that it scared me a little bit, and it did make me think, well, should we move into like a lower level or a smaller apartment complex? You know, because when you're 27 floors up, that's a long way down to get to safety. So that did make me think. Our lease is actually up in 2 weeks. The building managers contacted me and said, oh, are you interested in renewing your lease? I was like, I will let you know on Monday. So I'm just not 100% sure. I think the only thing is that, one, I don't really feel like moving just yet. I'm not like in that, I don't know, I'm not in that phone. I don't think I can mentally deal with having to move house right now. And I've just finished getting the house or the apartment like to that kind of finished stage with some new furniture. So we've just redone the lounge room. I've just redone a bit of a makeover on the bedrooms. So I really want to kind of just stay put and enjoy it for a little while. So I think for the next 3 to 6 months, we'll just stay here, living in the apartment, and then review. Because I think, and I'm a bit sad, but the high-rise that's being built in front of my view, I think it's going to obstruct the view quite significantly. And honestly, the view, like the panoramic view out there, is one of the reasons that I took this apartment in the first place. So we'll see. Never say never. How often do you change the decor in your apartment, and how do you keep from getting attached to some of these pieces? I think I've changed the decor actually in this apartment pretty much totally since we've been here. So I changed over the dining room table, the sofas, and then the main furniture in the bedroom, and added some extra storage items. So just changed it over time to suit. I definitely stick with affordable stuff because I know that we're not going to be living here forever, and I don't want to invest in really expensive furniture items that I'm either going to have to sell next time I move and lose a lot of money on, or that could, when you move, even if you choose the most careful of movers, stuff just gets damaged, and when you pull it apart and put it back together, it's never going to be 100% the same, or the same as like when you first get it. So I definitely try and do it on a budget. But that being said, I have changed over pretty much all of the furniture since we've been here, so in the last 2.5 years. And then with the decor, just switching out little things like throw blankets and cushions and things, or decorative items like, vases and plants and stuff. I think that's a really easy and cheap way to switch up your decor without committing to a whole new house. Hello, how do you plan your grocery shopping? Is it by sale ads or just meal planning? Would like to know for ideas. Currently trying to see the store ads, but then I meal plan to what I purchased and find myself having to make several trips to the grocery store for more items. I have just gone back to shopping online, which I think is saving me a lot of money. It's saving me a lot of time. And it's forcing me to really consider what I'm going to be buying and what I'm going to be making. So I will just sit online, and they make it really easy for you because you can just click on what's on special. So you can have the half price specials or just whatever is on special. And you can kind of click on that, see what's on special, and then you can really just make meal plan your ideas, or plan your meal prepping, plan your meal ideas from whatever is on special. So I definitely think you should shop the specials and meal plan from that, rather than meal plan and then go and buy things according to that meal plan, because your meal plan could have everything that is like at the highest price. Like if you're going to have like broccoli soup or something, and broccoli is like $12.99 a kilo, which is at the highest ridiculous price, that's going to make your overall grocery shop very, very expensive. Whereas if you look at what's on sale or what's on special, which you can definitely do online, you can do it through catalogs, or you can do it like even just on the store website, and plan your meals around what's on special, then you're going to have a much better control over your budget. So that's how I like to do it. Do you have a Spotify cleaning playlist? I do not. I do not have Spotify. I have Apple Music, but I usually listen to either 80s music or modern kind of female pop type. So Lady Gaga, Ariana Grande, Nicki Minaj, that kind of stuff. Camila Cabello, Shawn Mendes, anything that's like upbeat kind of poppy music I like, or old school 80s. I'm a single mum too. How do you motivate your sons to help around the home? Bribery? Withholding their pocket money. I really make sure just to communicate to them and make sure that they appreciate the fact that they live in this house. They need to contribute to keeping it to an acceptable standard. They've got chores that they have to do, whether they like it or not, and we just don't make a fuss about it. Like if I ask them to take out the rubbish or recycling, they just do it. When we empty the dishwasher, our dishwasher has 3 racks. There's 3 of us, so we do 1 rack each. Everyone chips in and does it. It's much easier, it's much quicker, it's much fairer. I don't want them to grow up thinking that someone else will look after them, like if they've got a partner or something. I don't want them to grow up thinking that someone else will ever be responsible for picking up after them. That's not fair. I want them to be really self-sufficient and be able to look after themselves and to really contribute to having a nice, clean and tidy house. And I want them to also value, the benefits of living in a clean and organised home. Hi, out of curiosity, what would your background be? Maybe Greek? No, it's Italian. What are your favourite microfiber cloths? I love the Daiso cleaning cloths, and they are actually included in the 100k giveaway, as well as I've recently purchased some Kmart $2, I think they were $2 for a pack of 3 microfiber cleaning cloths. So I think I'm going to really enjoy using those as well, because I've used them for a couple of times and they have been great so far. They are also included in the 100k giveaway. Love watching your channel. Do you have anything in your life that you find really hard to organise? Really hard to organize, no. I think the hardest thing that I've got to declutter though is photos and videos. Like, I know that I take a ton of photos and videos, and I find it really hard to delete videos, especially if they're videos of my kids. There's all photos, especially if they're of my kids. So I just try to be a little bit more careful about how many I take, because you can just get into the tens of thousands of photos taken a month trap. Go through and cull them quite regularly, like, and on the spot, rather than saving them up for a month or so and then just dumping everything. I will go through on my phone and just get rid of, any that are just poor quality, and only just keep the absolute best images and favorite those to make it easier to declutter that. But as of organizing, no, there's nothing that I find hard to organize. I think it's easy. Like, there's always a way to organize something. The camera is starting to flash red, so we've got to wrap it up really quickly. What are some books or resources that have greatly helped you become who you are today? What's some advice you can give to a newlywed struggling to stay on top of all the house chores and duties? Thank you, love your channel. From Sarah. Sarah, some books and resources that have greatly helped me. Definitely anything by Brene Brown. Mel Robbins, The 5-Second Rule. I really love Oprah's books. Tony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within. And what else? Oh, that's probably the main ones that I can think of. Definitely my advice to staying on top of your household chores is to have systems and have routines. For me, I know when I was just starting out, I had my newborn, I really got into the Fly Lady. I don't even know if she's still around or if she has anything on social media. This was actually before social media, so I actually went onto her website. I think she had like a cleaning forum or something like that. But she really introduced to me the concept of zone cleaning. So breaking your house into different zones and cleaning a different zone on a different day or on a different day of the week, as well as your morning and evening cleaning routines, to just make sure that your key areas really get, you stay on top of that. So obviously your kitchen sink, making sure your dishes are up to date, under control, keeping your counters clean, and also keeping the bathrooms cleaned on a daily basis. I think that has helped a ton. More about books, so I already answered that. How do you motivate yourself during difficult times? Just make the choice. You just make the choice. I can be either unmotivated, do nothing, be unproductive, and then feel really guilty and lousy about it, or just get up, make a list of 3 things to do, knock them out, get them done, and then just chill out for the rest of the day if I'm really feeling unmotivated. That way I will not feel like the day was a complete write-off or that it was completely useless. You just got those 3 things to do. And I think also keeping a track of the things that you have done, so that sometimes you can do quite a lot in a day without even realizing it. And if you don't sort of record it or write it down or have that to-do list to keep track of it, it can feel like, the whole day's gone and you've achieved nothing. But in fact, when you actually think about it, you're like, oh, well, actually, no, I organized my closet, or I did 3 loads of laundry, cleaned the kitchen, and kept the kids alive. So there's actually quite a lot that you do achieve without actually realizing it. And I think sometimes just having those like checklists to be able to check off and mark off that you've done them, it's that sense of achievement that does motivate you and spur you on to keep going and to keep getting more and more done. How to keep yourself productive every day, have routines in place. Yes, I definitely do have routines in place. So I definitely have a morning routine where I will just clean up the kitchen, go and wipe down the bathrooms, so like the vanities and everything. And I do that kind of in the morning, and then obviously after you've finished cooking and everything at nighttime, just making sure that I clean up the kitchen, shine your sink. That is a Fly Lady staple, like just saying end your day with a clean and clear sink, so that you have got a clean and clear sink to wake up to. So that way you're not starting the new day off on the back foot. You're starting it with a clean slate. And it sounds too simple to be even beneficial, but literally starting your day with a clean kitchen, it's literally life-changing. Like, nothing will set you up for success more than being ahead to start your day. Oh, we're really flashing now. Use a reward system to help keep you motivated while you work. Do you have any days where you're completely unmotivated? Yes, I definitely have days where I'm completely unmotivated and I don't want to do anything, but I always make sure I just do 3 things. 3 things are so easy. So once you've done 3, you're more than likely just going to do an extra couple of things anyway. And I always reward myself. So I reward myself financially with a little pocket money bonus. And I also reward myself with fun things to do, like watching a movie or watching a YouTube episode or like getting my nails done. So I will do that at the end of the month typically, if I have had a good month and stayed on schedule and been as productive and gotten as much done. A lot of people ask, where does the Sunday Stylist come from? There's no particular reason to the name. It was something that I was looking at doing, and it originally started on Instagram, and it was something that I wanted to create that would distract me from when my boys weren't with me. So I wanted to have something positive that I could channel my attention to for when my boys were at their dad's from being separated and divorced. Alright guys, so that is it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned a little bit more about me. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. It really is great feedback for me. It helps out my channel a ton. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe before you go. I will leave a list of some videos that I think you will enjoy down in the description below. Have a great week, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye everyone!
You know that I'm the queen of over.
And thank you again so much for my 100,000 subscriber award. It really does mean a lot to me. I'm very grateful for anyone who has ever subscribed, liked a video, commented. It all counts for engagement, so I'm very appreciative for anyone who takes the time to like, subscribe, give feedback. To enter the giveaway, simply leave a comment below letting me know what is your favorite video of mine. The giveaway is open to anyone worldwide and contains everything that is shown on the screen, plus another couple of things that I've added to it over the last couple of weeks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fabulous week, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye everyone. Oh, hot and sweaty. Oh my god, is that a sweat patch? Alright, let's just keep going, sweat and all.
I believe in us. I won't give up on you.